Hi, I'm Matthew from OpenResty Inc. Today I demonstrate how to set up a gRPC reverse proxy and load balancer in OpenResty Edge. We've prepared a sample gRPC backend server. The IP address of the backend ends with .166. And it's listening on port 8080. Here is the protobuf definition file for the sample gRPC service. This service returns a welcome message based on the name parameter. We can use the grpcurl command line utility to check this service output. This tool can send gRPC requests and then show any received responses in the JSON format. Use the plaintext option here since our gRPC server does not support TLS encryption. Pass world as the value of the name parameter. Enter the address of the gRPC server mentioned above. And finally, enter the gRPC service name. Send the request. We can see that the message hello world is returned, as expected. Next, we will use this gRPC server behind OpenResty Edge as an upstream. As always, let's go to the OpenResty Edge's admin web console. This is our sample deployment of the console. Every user has her own local deployment. We still use our continuing sample application, testedge.com. Enter the application. gRPC uses HTTP2 for transport. And HTTP2 is usually enabled by default in OpenResty Edge. Here I'd show how to enable HTTP2 in the Edge application settings. Select the enabled option. Save our change. Then we go to the SSL page to make sure that the SSL certificate is configured. We can see the certificates we configured in a previous tutorial. Go to the upstreams page. Create a new upstream for our backend server. We give this upstream a name, say, gRPC backend. If the gRPC backend server has TLS encryption enabled, we can select HTTPS here. Fill out the host field for the gRPC backend server with its IP address mentioned earlier. Enter its port number, 8080. Click to save this upstream. We can see that this new gRPC backend upstream was created successfully. Now let's create a new page rule to actually make use of this upstream. Create a new page rule. We add a URI prefix rule condition. Enter these request URI prefixes used by the grpcurl. Let's add a proxy target here. Turn on this switch to enable the gRPC proxy. Select the gRPC upstream that we just created. Insert this page rule before any existing normal rules. Save this page rule. We can see the proxy page rule is already listed here. We need to make a new release to push out our new changes, as always. Click on this button. Ship it. Our new release is now synchronized to all our gateway servers. Now the new page rule has been pushed to all the gateway clusters and servers. Our configuration changes do not require server reload, restart, or binary upgrade. So it's very efficient and scalable. Then we'll test the gRPC service through the gateway. We still use the grpcurl tool to access the gRPC service. We use the domain testedge.com and port 443. This will hit our OpenResty Edge gateway. This time we don't specify the plaintext option since the Edge gateway supports TLS encryption. Send the request. We can see that the message hello world is returned as expected. The gRPC service is now accessible with full TLS encryption even though the origin server doesn't. This is what I would like to demonstrate today.